Welcome RegenAG Nation. We're here week 4 scouting. Popped into a hop field here real quick and kind of give you an idea what I'm seeing this week and what we got going on at this stage in the majority of varieties. So a lot of the adult hops are pretty much at the wire at this stage in the season, and we're pushing out a lot more of our lateral growth and also kind of working in towards, I would say, on some of our earlier varieties we're in full bloom, and then some of the later ones we're still kind of trying to hit the wire, pushing out laterals, and then in the next 1 to 2 weeks I'd say pretty much every variety is going to be in full bloom. What we're still looking for kind of this time of the year, obviously every week we keep our eye out for mites. That can be kind of a disastrous insect in the hops, and if we aren't catching that early, we're going to have a lot of issues. We're checking for that, lower leaves, and I would say also something to keep in mind as you're scouting for mites, as the temperatures increase, which we are starting to see that here in the valley, you will also want to be scouting your upper leaves on the plants. As it gets really hot, some of those mites will come in, and they like the really warm weather, they reproduce quicker up there. So if you're not careful, they can get a hold of you. They come in the top of the hop plants, and it can kind of take over from there and work its way down. So that's something we're looking at, top and bottom this time of the year as well. Also, just as these fields close in and get really humid, and we have, even if you have really warm temperatures, you have a tremendous amount of humidity just from the sheer amount of foliage and plant growth in these fields. You will start to see in some varieties a lot of powdery mildew just from those humid temperatures. So that's something to keep in mind as these fields start getting really humid and the growth is tall and there's not as much sunshine penetrating down the rows. Remembering to scout really closely and look at your leaf health on these plants. We want a really good dark green color in these leaves. If you're seeing any yellowing, you're seeing any sort of rust happening on these leaves, that's a good indication that you're dealing with some sort of micronutrient deficiency, maybe a fungal disease, maybe you're seeing some virus spikes this time of year, or something like that. It's critical as you work into that reproductive stage this time of year to make sure that your plant has everything it needs to set a really good cone. So keep those things in mind. And also just still seeing quite a bit of pressure from caterpillars throughout the valley, so keep your eye out for those. Come check this out real quick. On this particular variety, we're in full bloom, and this is what your bloom on these plants looks like. So right after this, we're going to start seeing this push out and turning into a cone. And that's what you're seeing, some early cones here on these laterals. Thank you for joining us. And remember, make farming fun again.